Welcome to day 1 of surviving 100 days in Terraria's Calamity mod. Let's go over a few things real quick. I did add some quality of life mods including vein miner, magic storage, and of course a day counter. With how much time you spend underground in Terraria, it would have been almost impossible to do a 100 days and keep count without an in-game day counter. With that out of the way, let's get right to it. First off, let's go over what the Calamity mod is. It adds almost 50 new bosses, hundreds of new enemies, and thousands of new items and weapons. The start is more or less the start of normal Terraria, down to the mines for some ore, but I am mostly looking for gravitation potions. The Calamity mod also adds a lot of floating islands in the sky, which can fast track our progress. I wasn't able to find any potions, so I went back to the surface and just used a bunch of rope that I found to tower my way into the sky. I found a giant island with a factory inside, and in this chest there were some gravitation potions. Using them, I was able to find a whole bunch of little meteors containing heart crystals, and this normal floating island which had a horseshoe, which means fall damage no longer exists. I flew the other direction a little bit and found an enchanted sword, taking our damage from 9 up to over 40. I returned back home, against my will, and that will end day 1. Started the day off with exploring to the left of the world, was able to find a corruption biome, and eventually made it to the ocean, waking up the angler who will be my dear friend throughout these next 100 days. When I got back home, I made a little crafting area. My main goal for now is to get magic storage. To get everything I need, I will need a few different gems that I don't currently have, mostly sapphire and emerald and a few others. That night, I went into the mines with a Splunker potion, which exposes all nearby ores. I was able to find everything that I needed, and by that night, had the magic storage all set up. Magic storage just allows you to hold hundreds of items together and use any of those items during the crafting process. For only being 2 days in, I'm pretty happy with the progress so far. Doing a bit of exploring to the right today. While I travel, let's go over some more mod knowledge and some goals. I'd like to kill our first boss, being the King Slime, by day 5. Calamity mod is split into 3 different stages: pre-hard mode and hard mode, which are just normal stages, and then there's also post-Moonlord. Normally, Moonlord is the end of the game, but in Calamity there are about 10 bosses after the Moonlord. Currently, we are in pre-hard mode, hoping to kill the Wall of Flesh and enter hard mode by day 40 and kill the Moonlord and enter post-Moonlord by day 80. I'm not really sure how the pacing will be, but we might hit these goals a lot faster than I'm thinking. When I got back home from exploring, I talked to the angler, and the fish he would like today is found in the tundra, so I made my way over there and started fishing. After completing 5 quests for the angler, I will be rewarded with the fuzzy carrot, giving me a buddy rideable mount, which is a pretty fast form of travel for early game. I found the fish and completed my first quest. I made my way back towards the left side of the world to find a demon altar, which I will need to be at to craft a spawner for the King Slime, but I wasn't able to find any before day 4. Continuing the journey from yesterday, I made my way down into the underground corruption. I broke open this shadow orb, getting a musket. Now that I have a gun, the arms dealer will move in. Once I make more housing, I then made my way towards the demon altar and crafted the spawner for the King Slime, which we will hopefully take down tomorrow. I made my way back home and made some more villager housing at supersonic speeds. I definitely didn't speed up this footage, I'm totally just this fast. The angler's fish for the day is found in the corruption, so back there I go. It took a stupidly long time, but I was able to finally get the fish. After dropping off the fish, I started my elevator, which is of course a fast pass to the underworld. I was able to make some good progress. I used a Splunker potion so I could get some more gold and finally craft a full armor set, hopefully. As I was making my way through this glowing mushroom biome, I got jump scared by the day 5 screen. Day 5, it's finally time to take down the first boss. King Slime is an insanely easy boss that some runs will skip entirely, but I thought why not go ahead and fight him to mark him off of the list. I made a very basic fighting area and spawned him in. For this series, I'm going to be including the full boss fights in the 100 days video. Feel free to skip ahead if you don't want to watch the full thing. After the fight, I continued my daily task of fishing for the angler. Luckily, this time I was able to find the quest fish in a normal pond. I then made my way to take on the next boss on the list, the Desert Scourge. I had nothing that I needed for the spawner, but one quick detour into the underground sand dunes, and I had everything I needed. After those two boss fights, as if I hadn't already done enough today, I also finished up the Elevator, a highly productive day overall. Today could also be known as the Day of the Angler. I cannot explain how long I spent fishing for the quest fish of today. It might have been over 8 minutes. Anyways, now that it is nighttime, let's go ahead and take on the next boss on the list, the Eye of Cthulhu. After that, I didn't have much day left, so I grabbed some glowing mushrooms, which will be needed to fight the next boss on the list, Crabulon, but that will have to wait until tomorrow. Day 8 of surviving 100 days in Terraria's Calamity mod. Yep, that's right, I said day 8. Day 7 was lost. On day 7, I went mining to get full gold armor and got the spawner for Crabulon, so let's get right into the fight. After, I made my way to the corruption biome to take on the next boss. Just speed running through bosses at this point. Next up, the Eater of Worlds. didn't win this fight, but if I'm being honest, winning wasn't the main objective. I just wanted to get enough shadow scales to jump up to the next weapon and armor set in our progression, Hellfire, which we will do tomorrow. I wanted to start the day off with getting Hellstone, but there was a pesky little goblin army. I took them down. I didn't even die, although I did get close a few times. Hey, you! Sorry to stop the video, but only 6.5% of you guys are subscribed. If you're liking the video so far, why not just subscribe? It's easy, it's one button, helps me out a lot. Anyways, back to the video. After that, I entered Hell. With an Obsidian Skin Potion and Vein Miner, getting Hellstone was extremely easy. I crafted my new armor and sword, which does an insane 100 damage. Afterwards, I went on a rescue mission to find the Goblin Tinkerer. It took a while, but I did eventually find him, grabbed the rocket boots and workshop, and then teleported back home. I threw together a few new accessories, and that will end day 9. Day 10 of surviving 100 days in Terraria's Calamity Pod. With my new armor and weaponry, I think I can finally take down the next boss on the list, the Eater of Worlds Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. Before the fight, I went ahead and reforged my armor to have warding on everything, taking my defense from 28 up to 44. I couldn't get full warding on everything, but I think this will be good enough. After that fight, I was still craving violence, so I instantly started the next one, this time against the Hive Mind, a boss I hadn't faced before since I almost always play with Crimson instead of Corruption. Yet again, an all-around easy boss fight, so why not go for the three-peat and take down Queen Bee today as well? I'll skip the daytime in which I made my way towards Skeletron's lair, and then built the battle arena and get straight into the fight. A nice little easy fight, but tomorrow we will enter the dungeon to get multiple game-changing items. After beating Skeletron, the next step is of course to loot the dungeon. I'm looking for 2 items specifically. First off, a Cobalt Shield, which removes enemies' knockback. The second is the Muramasa, which is the last crafting material I need to make the Knight's Edge, one of the most powerful pre-hard mode swords. The shield I was able to find in the first chest that I searched, but the Muramasa took a very long time, 20 minutes to be exact. With the small remainder of the day, I went ahead and took down the Slime God, the last boss before the Wall of Flesh. Day 13 doesn't exist. The day counter mod that I installed has a glitch, where every time I leave and then get back on, it is 1 day later than it is supposed to be. To try and minimize the lost days, I'm going to be doing longer play sessions, that way there aren't as many breaks. For example, I played days 17 through 30 all at the same time. That's almost 4 hours of game. Anyways, back to Terraria. In the dungeon the other day, I got a shadow key, so I went to the underworld to go ahead and loot some shadow chests. Didn't get anything too good, and looking back at this, it was mostly a waste of time. I know I spent some time looking for the Muramasa to make the Knight's Edge, but I'm actually going to be using this Fractured Arc for the time being. It has a special ability where I can parry attacks or projectiles, and that empowers the sword to then shoot projectiles and do more damage. That night, I took down some Eye of Cthulhu's a few times for some Demonite ore so I could upgrade my magic storage, since right now it was decently full with 250 of the 400 slots of storage occupied. Started the day off with adding another 3 stories to the village hotel at supersonic speed. This should add at least 20 bucks to the property value. After that, I started the pathway in the underworld that I will be using to cheese the wall of flesh. I'm just gonna run along this pathway while throwing hundreds of bee nades at him and letting the little bees do all of the damage. That night, I was farming for some harpies to get some feathers and craft my first set of wings. Wasn't able to get enough tonight, but tomorrow I hopefully will. Sorry, day 16 doesn't exist, but today I decided to go ahead and change the game mode from Expert up to Revengeance, which makes bosses and enemies overall a bit stronger. It also adds the Rage and Adrenaline meters. Rage builds up over time when doing damage and can be used for a slight damage boost. Adrenaline is only active during boss fights and will drop down to 0 if you take any damage, but if you are able to use it, it is a moderate damage increase. So over these next few days, I'm going to go ahead and fight all of the previous bosses again with their new attacks and buffs. Today we will tackle the King of Slime and the Eye of Cthulhu. More refighting bosses from my past. Today we take down 3. The Desert Scourge, Crabulon, and the Eater of Worlds. Just know, when I'm not fighting these bosses, I'm working on something secret that you guys will get to see tomorrow. Time to show you guys what I've been working on these last few days. I built a house. Now, any experienced Terraria builder probably thinks that this looks like shit, but I've never really went beyond building villager hotels, so this is more decorative building than I usually do. Anyways, back to the boss rush. Today we take down the Hive Mind and the Queen Bee. Day 20 of surviving 100 days in Terraria's Calamity mod. Time to fight the last boss that I need to refight. I'm not going to refight Skeletron because I really don't feel like going through the trouble, so time to fight the Slime God. Now that I've completed refighting all of the bosses in Revengeance mode, let's move on to the Wall of Flesh and try and get into hard mode 20 days ahead of schedule. The fight should be pretty easy, just have to run it along this platform and throw down B-nades. Okay, he spawned the opposite way that I wanted him to spawn. Guess I'm gonna have to fight him without the platform. Surprisingly, only to me, I was able to kill the Wall of Flesh without pathway. Now that we are in hard mode, we get a 6th accessory slot and have access to a lot of new items and ores. But for now, I will focus on Palladium, which will make up the next armor set. This armor set taking me from 71 defense up to 85. We still have a bit more to do before we are ready to take on any of the hard mode bosses. First day of hard mode, here we come. Started off the hard mode journey with farming for some souls of light to make some hollowed chests for some nice weapons. I was farming for a pretty long time and got 83 souls of light. Now, hollowed chests do deal massive damage if they hit you, but once you learn their patterns, as long as you pay attention, the fight is pretty easy. The first one dropped a crystal vine shard, which isn't too great, so let's fight another one. And this one dropped a flying knight, which is exactly what I was looking for. This thing should make the destroyer boss fight a lot easier. I spent the day fighting some more hollowed chests. Once it was night time, I decided to go ahead and try to take down the destroyer. Probably not quite ready for this yet, but let's just see how it goes. I wasn't able to get the job done, but I did get him below 20% health. I tried another time and got him down to 15% health, but still not good enough, so I guess I'll try and get some more upgrades. Day 23 of surviving 100 days in Terraria's Calamity mod. Today is the day of farming. Spent the day farming for some more Souls of Light, as well as the accessory that I need to get the Ankh shield. That night was a blood moon, so I made a simple trap and farmed for blood orbs. They can be used for missing ingredients when crafting potions, and they are extremely helpful. I was able to get 55 more Souls of Light during the day, and then over 100 blood orbs that night, so a very nice day of resource gathering overall. Set up a better kill room today to get some more Souls of Light and the Nazar, the last accessory I need before I can make the Ankh shield. With this new setup, I was able to get 160 Souls of Light, but still no Nazar. That night, I thought I'd go ahead and try and take down one of the other bosses on the list, the twins. Got close, but yet again fell short. Day 25 of surviving 100 days in Terraria's Calamity mod. Today, I never left this farming area. I spent the entire day down here trying to get the Nazar. The worst part is, I can't even make the Ankh shield yet. I need a mithril anvil, which I can only get after I defeat a mechanical boss. So I am 100% just wasting my time. I mean, yeah, I'll have hundreds of souls of light and I'll never need to worry about that again. But I could have spent this time doing anything else and it would have been so much more productive. Anyways, I got over 350 souls of light today and 4 platinum coins, so I can't complain too much. Thank you guys for watching. I decided to go ahead and split this video into 4 parts. At the end, there will still be a full 100 days video. Just wanted to give you guys more content.